when it comes to latency, you get a movie that touches upon the VR world and where it could go in the future, but as it brings painful memories to life for its lead, it may feel like it doesn't tap into things enough for you to really get going. But let's summarize the film just to touch upon it more and add some details. Hannah has agoraphobia, which is the fear of leaving her home, specifically this apartment that she's lived in seemingly since she was a child. And the way that she makes money so that she doesn't have to go outside is that she's a game tester, and she used to be, at least if you go by her friend Jen, she used to be a professional gamer. Now, what happened when it comes to gaming and why she is considered a has-been by Jen at this point, it's hard to say, but just to be clear, Jen is mostly poking fun at her. Jen is still someone who's very much a friend, and at times you maybe think they could be girlfriends, it's hard to say, but Jen is the one who's cooking, cleaning, getting groceries, making sure that Hannah has all the Red Bull she could ever want. And so they have clearly a dynamic in relationship that may seem a little bit one-sided because you're not really sure what Jen gets out of this relationship, but again, that's why there's a push to think maybe they're dating. That all aside, being that Hannah has had notoriety and she is a game tester from this company called CNEX, she gets what's called an Omnia. It basically is this band that goes around the back of your head and through 11 stages, which include pain, testing your motor skills and all that. It figures out a way to sync with your brain, and FBus is a pretty cool tool, but as time goes on and it syncs with Hannah's brain, it almost creates an environment that seems very much unreal as Hannah starts to see things and is starting to lose grip on reality. It goes from a really cool tool that Hannah's using to Hannah becoming a test subject. So getting to the review portion, I will admit, for a highlight, and it's not like a high number highlight, it is kind of cool of what they was trying to do here because you get the concept. Even though virtual reality, headsets and all that, I feel are still very much a luxury item that don't have the type of widespread adaptation that make this truly scary, you can't discount the ideas that are brought in here. Whether it's syncing with your brain and bringing up dark memories, making it so reality and the fantasy world that this headset's creating for you blur to the point where you can't even remember if you have the headset on or not. A lot of good ideas are presented here. Execution may not be the best, but the ideas definitely are good enough for you to imagine someone being inspired by this movie, similar to how some people in the film industry mention these kind of obscure films that you never heard of that was a big inspiration for this big hit. I think that Latency could potentially have the ability to be that thing that made this director, writer, actor, whatever, look to this film to think, I could expand on that and make it something good. But with that said, the issue that we had with Latency wasn't so much the technology or the horror element or even a psychological element. It was more so the fact that we couldn't really build a connection with the characters to care fully about what's happening. With Jen and Hannah, their relationship is kind of murky, and again, one of our issues is we're not sure what Jen gets out of this relationship. Jen does not have agoraphobia. She can hang out with anybody. She seemingly has social skills, so what exactly brought her to Hannah's life, what keeps her in Hannah's life, besides perhaps routine, it's a bit hard to say. And then when you spread out to talk about Hannah's mother, who she got agoraphobia from, it's not really tapped into, at least that I can remember, what caused it. Her father kind of disappears, even though it's shown that he did take her outside at one time and they had a relationship. So what happened there is a little bit murky, and maybe I missed it, maybe something else happened. It's hard to say, but not having information on certain relationships kind of made it so that while you recognize some of the horrible things that were done that affected Hannah, unfortunately, I won't say you won't care, but I will say that it doesn't hit or create the kind of bond that will allow you to really get not even emotional, like to the point of crying or anything like that, but at least really care to the point where You recognize her traumas, what causes agoraphobia is real, and you can feel some type of empathy for her to the point that it makes what happens toward the ending be far more impactful. Overall, as we said, while there are a little bit of pitfalls when it comes to latency, at the same time, there's still enough presented here where you can imagine another creator being inspired to take this to the next level and perhaps go into the untapped potential that latency showcased.